Hello, my lovelies. Let's see if you guys can hear and see my starting screen. I'm just catching up with chat. I was busy working on questions. Yes, Annabelle, I did put some lab and path questions in for tonight. Hey, Deep, how's it going? Hey, Holly. Hey, Patrice. Hey, Go-Kart. Hey, Living Life. Hey, Ran. Hey, Go-Kart. Hey, Bookers. Hi, Barnes. Hey, Diana. Thank you, Jill. Thank you guys for letting me know you can hear me. Awesome. Hey, Annabelle. Hello. I did put some lab and path in. Hi, Holly. Hey, Nicole. Yep. Long live the Doors. Oh, man. Now you're talking. First time here. I was recommended by a colleague who passed their exam last week. That's awesome. I hope I can help you out. I teach medical coding strictly from the medical coding certification exam point of view. I don't find that courses are very helpful because they're separated in the way that people teach them. They are teaching you how to code from these medical books that are paper printed books that no one uses anymore, even in real life. If you were to get a job in a doctor's office, I haven't seen a medical coding book in an office in over a decade. We use a totally different system, so I think a lot of that is a big disconnect anyway when you're in the medical field. And to get a job in the medical field, you have to pass a certification exam. And you don't need a course to be able to pass or take a medical coding certification exam. So I think it's more prudent and cost effective to just go straight to the exam, work on passing that. Then when you get into a doctor's offices, all doctor's offices know they have to train you on their own EHR system and how to code or look up codes in their systems because it's all different. We don't have any universal EHRs. There's no universal clearinghouses. There's no universal way of billing or coding. It's all whatever is up to the practice that they want to do and their contracts that they make with their vendors, meaning labs and the health plans. So I find all that stuff inefficient. So let's just get our certification done. And I teach from the exam point of view. Strictly from that, we don't take into account very much payer information. So if you are in the field already working as a biller, the certification exam can trip you up because there are clear scenarios that would never be coded in a regular doctor's office. But if you needed to pass a certification exams dictate that scenarios be coded a certain way. And that's just the way it is for the certification exam. When you're in the office, again, it's going to be totally different. So you need to get rid of any preconceptions that you have about medical coding out of your head. And also think about that you don't have to do any coding during a certification exam. The coding has already been done for you. There's no indexing. There's no going to the front of the book. All that stuff that they teach you in the courses isn't even done in a regular doctor's office. It won't even be done on the certification exam. So again, it just seems inefficient to me to do that, but I'm just some lady on the internet, It's just my opinion. So the exam is already coded for you. You just have to learn how to pick out the correct answer. And my oldest son, who has multiple degrees, and I have a very inattentive brain in a room full of people, I'm more worried about if they're okay and if anybody needs anything, or if I'm bothering anybody, or if I don't know, my brain just scatters. So he taught me a specific way of how to do exams, which worked for me. And it's wonderful. So I just passing it on to you guys, and I hope it's helpful. Let me get back to chat and throw this up. I have a ton of practice questions for you guys today. I have a couple of more integumentary, musculoskeletal, E&M, and of course lab and path to get to today. I'm glad you're with us long live. Also, by the way, please, if you haven't, download the Discord app. It's in your Play Store, whatever kind of phone you have. It's completely free and does not track your phone with ads or anything. It's made by gamers. It's an alternative to Facebook. They did not want any of those tracking or listening devices. But what I use Discord for, I have my own Discord server that holds all the info. Any photos you wanted to see, shared screenshots, answers to questions like how many questions are on the exam, what books do I get, how do I prep my books, how do I practice questions, how do I get a job, how do I interview for a job, how do I do CEUs, any kind of question. It's been answered in the last 2 years, and it's full of all free information for you guys. I don't charge for any of it. You guys can go into Discord, so be sure and join that. All the links to that are here on YouTube. If you look at my YouTube banner at the top, it's got the Etsy store, of course. It's got TikTok link. It's got Facebook, but it also has the little gaming controller, and that's how you join Discord. Just be sure and download the app, set up your own account, which means verifying your email address. I don't get copies of your email address. You won't get any spam emails from me or Discord, but do verify your account and then come back and click that link, and it's totally free. And if you have a question, if you're taking a course, you can always post your question in there or search for questions that have already been answered, but somebody's in there 24/7, no matter what country you're in, and can help answer those questions. Especially if I'm unavailable, because I'm just one person and I've got 25,000 followers on TikTok alone. I just hit 10,000 on YouTube, so I get questions like crazy from everywhere. I got 6,000 on Facebook. I don't know how many on Instagram, so I can't keep up with all the questions, but I do try my very, very best. I do the 6 hours free every week of lessons for everybody, and of course provide my website that's free with tons of pictures. There's resources on there for other educators. There's also resources of how I prep my books. You can go to the resource tab, click on CPT book prep, and it shows you picture by picture of how I prep my book, all for free. Just click on the pics and it'll give you the instructions. That and the ICD-10. I have a blog there that keeps up with some information too. So I do my best to help you guys out as best I can. And then I group you all together in Discord so you guys can buddy together and help each other out. And I got some long-term pals here like Go-Kart and Twinkle, and even Deep here, who's already passed, Stacy, Christy, just Patrice, all you guys. There's a lot of support here, so ask away. And while you can, while I'm here, ask your questions. Of course. Hey, Dev, good to see you. Hey, Diana. I don't know if I missed y'all. Hey, Laura Love, good to see you. What's the difference between MRA and MRI? Well, where do you find that answer, Miss Go-Kart? Where would you find that? Remember, your CPT book, your ICD-10, and your HIPICS are your Google. So you're going to need to figure out and find things like that prior to your exam so that you know where to find information. I'm looking for you too real quick. I'm looking for the right page number. Should be around 521. What have we got over here in our guidelines? We have, don't we have a little thingy here? Second column. Top paragraph, we've got CT or magnetic resonance MR arthroscopy listed there. Don't we have MRA listed here too? There it is. And then we've got our, let's see, third paragraph down. We've got where injections come in play, where they're intravascular. So we're going to do an injection with a CT scan. That ends up being our CT. Our MRI is for our magnetic resonance imaging, our MRA. Instead of imaging, we change it over to angiography. So are we doing a magnetic imaging or are we doing a magnetic angio? Do you see that? Let me turn on the little camera thingy here too. So right here, definitions are right there. Hopefully that helps answer that question. I'm just checking out chat, seeing what else I have.
Elizabeth Webber has become a member.
Oh, yay, Elizabeth. One of the things that I do charge for is if you want a list or if you want access to exclusive videos, like when I go through and update my notes yearly, if you want to watch me update my notes code by code and see what I mark and what I don't mark, I have those videos on YouTube. I charge $4.99 per month if you want access to those. I don't do every single code of every single chapter and have them published on there. But when I'm home and when it's my kids are not, and I'm not in the living room doing it or messing around with my mom, if I'm back here at my office and I'm working on it, I'll turn on my webcam and we do 10 or so pages together per chapter. So I have 2021, probably 2022, and 2023. Eventually I'll get all the codes published there, I'm pretty sure, but I know I've got at least something from every single chapter available in those videos. I've got almost 600 videos posted now on YouTube, and then they also get, when you become a member, which is different from just subscribing, but please don't forget to hit the subscribe button because that is free. the membership, you also get access to all my old workshops, which are 3-hour Sunday workshops where I go question to question. I don't do any talking besides the questions. And we keep in the same pace as the exam. So 75 questions for 3 hours. We go back to back, and I show you exactly how I would handle each question as if I was in the exam. And that way you get to see how fast you need to be for the exam, and you get 1 3-hour spot without my kids breaking in or me talking about my mom or some funny anecdote that just pops into my head for some unknown reason. But those are really handy dandy, and plus you can pause the screen on those, try to work out the question all by yourself, then release the screen and see if you got the answer right, which is a great way to study for any coding exam. Super concentrated, all in one area. Usually we do like cardiovascular or all E&M or something like that. I have another one scheduled I just sent out today. When is that? It's going to be the 16th. I think I did exactly what y'all suggested. The last live, anesthesia, medicine, and E&M. Somebody asked for more compliance and guidelines. I'll throw in a few of those too. I found some new ones that I didn't do in the compliance and guideline ones, a workshop that I did recently. Just a couple of them, but if they're interesting, I'll find some more and throw those in, but I didn't write it on there, but I'm going to keep that in mind because that's some of the things that you said you wanted. But it'll mainly be over anesthesia, but probably a higher concentration of medicine since there's 6 questions on the exam in medicine and only 4 in anesthesia. We keep in mind the more bang for our buck kind of thing like that. But we'll go over all those areas that you guys wanted to do on the 16th. That's one more thing that I charge for. If you want access to that, it's $12 for a workshop on Sunday for 3 hours with me. It's interactive just like this, and we'll do it in the same pace as the certification exam. You bring your books, you try to get to the codes as fast as I do, try to come up with your own answers as fast as I do, and see how good you do. See how many you can get right, see if you're passing at 70%, which is your passing score needs to be. Super great way. And even if you can't participate, you get replay access to it for 90 days. And then after 90 days, it's already been published and out. Then it goes to the memberships on the YouTube channel. Anyway, so I hope to see you guys on that Sunday. What else do I have? Check and chat. Can you show us how you prep the ICD-10 book? I can. So I have ICD-10 notes available, but they're not on my Etsy store. They're only on my website, which is Medical Coding by Jen. Yes, Travis, my love.
Can I go in the pool now?
I don't know, son. I don't know. I'm doing a live.
I'm gonna be good if I take my phone because you can call me or text me.
I don't know, Travis. I don't know. I'm too indecisive for this right now. You can't swim in that shirt. You'll ruin it, too, by the way.
Can I go get a different shirt?
I don't know. Can you? I don't know, Travis.
Well, you have to say yes if I can go.
I don't have to say anything. I can answer the question the way that I feel comfortable with answering it right now. I don't know if I feel comfortable with you swimming over there while I'm so concentrated here on this live.
I'm gonna be fine. I've swum over here before.
I know you have. I know you have.
It's just me and Haley.
I know. Okay, leave, baby. Okay?
Oh my god.
Sorry. My child. So, prepping my book, I of course recommend the AAPC book if you're going to take an AAPC certification. I recommend the first thing you do is rewrite some guidelines. where the codes are that affect that guideline. Leaving it up here in the front where all the guidelines is at, I mean, nobody has time. Even if you print those things out and bring them with you, it's a pain. Move it to the codes, because if you're going to be here, then move it. So I go to the external cause index because we have 5 different groups the way we build these. We have to have the cause first, the intent, the place, the activity, and the status, and they have to be in that order. And I color code them, and then I'll go through here. Anything that is the intent is just blue. Anything that is a place or an activity, I mark pink. Yeah, activity is yellow. Yeah, place is yellow. Anyway, I do that, but I also do it again. When you go to your chapters over here for your chapter 19 and 20, those 2 chapters are both external causes. I rewrite it again at the top. Moving those guidelines is super helpful, plus writing it 3 times helps you remember, and it's here with the code, so you don't have to remember to write it somewhere else. Other things I do is, of course, write guidelines here. I move a lot of my guidelines to the areas where it's needed. If just so much stuff, anything that is OB related or guideline related is going to be moved to these codes. I also add examples of how to code each scenario at the codes so that it's not up there in the front with the guidelines. Just even my sepsis or all the guidelines that deal with sepsis or SARS are all with the codes. Even the cancer ones, how you code anemia. There's 5 different ways to code anemia depending on how they caught anemia when they have cancer. No one can remember all that. You don't want to go up to the front and read that during the middle of the exam, so I move all the guidelines. Move all the guidelines to, and I like to use the first page of each chapter as a stopping point for all my guidelines. Super helpful. But I do have those in the shop if you want them. That's my best advice, is to go to the diabetes code and write all the examples you can find of how you code diabetes with CKD. Which one goes first? Which one goes second? Just write the examples down. Super helpful. You're already doing the practice questions. You might as well move the answers to the codes that are affected, and then that way you have your book set up as a total Google setup, right? How do I code diabetes with an OB patient who has CKD? Where do I find that information? Do I need to go look at the diabetes guidelines? Do I need to go look at the OB guidelines? Or do I just need to go to the diabetes page E11 and E12 and just write all the examples on those 2 pages, whether it's OB or whether it's regular patient? That way it's all concentrated into one place. And to get better practice and better memory, go rewrite them all again over in the OB section. That's my advice right there. Hey, Kathy, good to see you. Hey, Jess, good to see you. Hey, Bright Farms. Is it okay that we use P6 with 099? No, I don't think so. I think if the CPT code descriptor already says the patient is brain dead, then no. It's just like what that code about the age, 991 Which one is that one? 99100. If it says the descriptor already, then we don't. Where's my thing? Right there. It's up here. Here we go. No P6. According to my notes, we don't use it. If the CPT code, the only reason you use a modifier, and what does this say P6 is? P6 is a modifier. The definition of a modifier in the front of our book. Lord, let me get there. The definition of a modifier. Way back here in the very front of our book. A modifier provides the means to report or indicate that a service or procedure that has been performed has been altered by some specific circumstance. Did you alter that CPT code of the patient being brain dead? You didn't alter it at all because the CPT code says the patient is brain dead. So you don't add a modifier to it unless you need to change or alter the CPT code. Hope that's helpful. All right. Any suggestions? Thank you for the hearts. Aw, you guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Any suggestions on where to get an inexpensive study book? I'm working on trying to make you guys one. I'm just struggling with it, but I'm working on one. Inexpensive. If you're taking AAPC's certification, then I recommend AAPC Study Guide. I still have my 2019. I just recommend Googling this book. I lost the front cover of it because I've worn this thing out, but whatever certification you're trying to take, get their version because it's a concentrated version of their course, all in one. Even if you got, and I know the guidelines and E&M changed, but I'm telling you, any version, just Google this and change your Google search to shopping and see if you can't find any year that is $40 or less with free shipping. Every chapter is exactly what they're going to ask you on the exam. The hierarchy of providers. What is a mid-level provider? That's usually on an exam. Different types of payers. Medicare Part A, B, C, and D, and what's inside of them. That's probably going to be on the exam. Even if I go to the E&M section that has been all updated for 2023, it's still stuff that will be on the exam. What's the difference between a new patient or an established patient? What's the difference? See right there, new or established. The key components of E&M have changed, but we still need to know the definitions of what hospital inpatient services are, how you report consultations with Medicare or not, how do you code whether we don't worry about a payer, and how do we do consultations. That still hasn't changed. How do we code neonates and babies? Guarantee will be on the exam and it has not changed. Critical care services will be on the exam and has not changed. There's just so much in here. They got rid of the domicile, rest homes, and home services. They've combined them all into one. It doesn't matter where they're at, either at a home health agency, in their own home, or if they're in a rest home, it's just all called home now because that's where they live. So they just combined it. It's okay. But still, the definitions are still handy dandy. You need to know the definition of face-to-face and non-face-to-face E&Ms. You need to know what's included in newborn care services. That has not changed. Just all kinds of stuff here are super helpful. You don't have to know history of present illness, and you don't need to know the review of systems anymore, so you can skip that part. You do need to know your differences between the diagnoses of being straightforward, low, moderate, or high. Super important. Still need to know that. Yep. So even an older study guide is still helpful from one end to the other, and it's more information than you could ever get into one thing, and it has all the anatomy they may ask you to. So super helpful. Get their study guide if you're doing it. If you're doing a HEMA has something called a workbook that I really like. It's a workbook, and it comes with going through all the E&Ms and diagnoses and hip picks at level 1, like baby coder. And then it does it all over again at level 2. Okay, I'm intermediate coder. I'm getting this. And then it has, okay, I'm a super coder. I'm ready to go to the hospital and work and code there. Then it does them all over again as a super coder. Really like that, a HEMA workbook. That's the name of it. But that's for the CCS people. I like their workbook. I got the electronic version. I haven't found a printed version yet, but anyway, I like that one. Hey, Deep. Hey, Sandy, good to see you. She's struggling, somebody's struggling with a med certs self-taught course. Go to the answers first. See what the differences are on the answers. Then you'll be able to look through this exam question and pick out the answer easier. Hey, Casey. Hey, Benita. It's good to see you. Let's see, do we code Medicare G codes with E&M codes? Sometimes. Who said that? Who said that? Zena? I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry if I'm not. I didn't learn phonics when I was in elementary school. I learn by remembering pronunciation. Phonics is not my forte. So if you have a Medicare patient who is established, being seen in your office, here, I could write this out, probably easier for y'all to see. So if I have a Medicare patient who's established, who comes to your office and spends 90 minutes face to face with our provider, we're still going to bill our 99215, but our prolonged services, because anything over 54 minutes is supposed to, according to the parenthetical here, get a code of 99417, but Medicare doesn't like it, of course. So we're going to go to our G22.12, right? And we would times that by 2, and that would be the answer to our question for 90 minutes for just Medicare patient. That kind of example and guidelines and stuff are in my notes. Also, you can't pick for Medicare if your time is 55 minutes, like you could if it was a commercial pay. If we're 55 minutes, we automatically get to do that 99417. But for Medicare, Medicare won't pick up at 55 minutes. It has to be how many minutes until Medicare will pick it up? Anybody know? Just curious to see if anybody knows. Hey, Andrea, it's normal to be nervous. Anybody know what the answer is? When will Medicare pick up the very first G22.2 code? Remember the thing I've talked about recently about if you're going to do an add-on code for time, before you can bill it, like for infusion, where our first hour is one code, and then for our additional hour of infusion, for an additional hour, we can't bill 1 hour and 5 minutes and be able to bill that add-on code. We can't even bill 1 hour and 30 minutes and be able to bill that extra add-on code, even though our first code only does 60 minutes. It still won't pick up that add-on code. The only time we are able to do the add-on code is 1 hour and 31 minutes, because we have this rule with time. If we're going to do add-on, we have to exceed half the time before we can bill an add-on code. So 30 minutes is half the time. The rule says we have to exceed it. So to exceed it would mean 31 minutes. Same thing for our G code. We have to allow 15 minutes to pass by after that first 54 minutes. We need another 15 minutes to pass by before we can add that G code. So 69 minutes is when our secondary G code will pick up, not at 55 minutes. Anyway, all that is in my notes. If you want them, they're on my website and they're on Etsy too. First time hearing this? I just recently did a live about it. I don't know which one it was, but I did. When was that? It's just something I don't go over very often because it's not something that's going to be on the CPC exam, you know? That's more of a COC thing. Hey, Twinkle. All right, let's get started with our first questions for tonight. Let me bring back up my Word document. I know y'all can see it, but I can't. All right. So I cover up the questions because I don't want to look at the questions. I go to the answers first. First thing we're going to do is go see what the differences are in our answers. We can probably, maybe, assume maybe that it's the 212s. Let's go see what headers they're under right here. What's the header? So a lot of times it's not running to each code and looking at the definition of whatever it is. A lot of times it's just looking to see what your header is. And I'll show you what that is in just a second. 1205, okay? So what I mean by that is if we have codes that are separated by numbers, then this question is going to be answered by headers, not the CPT code descriptor. So if I come here to the 1205, I'm not going to read out 12.6 to 20.0. I'm wasting my time. I'm even wasting my time if I go up here to Mama and see what she's about. What I need to be looking at is my main header. Sometimes these main headers aren't anywhere near the codes. They're on codes way back somewhere else. You just need to scroll back until you find a header. These two are under repair simple. So what I'm going to do is just put R simple. What is my 13 under? 13120 is under header repair complex. What's my header for 15? This is how things are answered for an exam. If you're going code by code, but not paying attention to the differences in the headers, you're going to get the questions wrong. So 15271, 271. What are we under right here? We're under skin grafts. So what did we do? Let's just skim our question from the bottom up and see, did we do a repair? If we did, was it complex or simple? Or did we do a graft? And we're just skimming for keywords that might mean repair or a keyword that might mean graft. And what do you see when you scroll backwards? You see the word graph. We only have one code that's under the graph. You know what your answer is. You didn't have to read the question, which is full of propaganda meant to confuse you. They use psychomediasts that construct and help build these questions that are meant to confuse you. So avoid the questions at all cost. Look at your headers before descriptors if you're looking to pass the certification exam, and pick your answer and move on. Don't read nothing else. And yeah, you can check out all that silly foolishness rationale because we don't even have time to look at indexes. Nobody does any of this at all. I'll probably get rid of all that anyway. All right, next one y'all are going to do by yourself. Remember, avoid the question, look up the different headers. Flower, it's a mixture. Some questions are short, some questions are long. I think that the questions are shorter for the online exam than they are in person. When you take the exam in person, they can print them out and make the test booklet as thick as they want. When you do the exam online, they need to get the questions and the answers all on one screen. And I think that those were much shorter, less wordier. But it's a mixture. It's a hodgepodge. This is just an exercise to practice. Hey, Miggy. You're struggling with the hernia codes? Hernias are, I like those. Those are pretty easy. But I refuse to also learn them for my certification exam. It looks more difficult than it really is. But hernias are super easy. So, let's see. Let me scoochy this down. Hernias are on page 389 of the CPT book, and they are separated first by initial or recurrent. On initial, they're separated by epi, incisional, vent, umbilical, and our SPIG. That's it. So code 49591 versus 49613. They're all the same. They're both the same sets, the same body locations. Just this one is the initial, first time the patient's ever had this type of hernia. Or, oh, here we are back again. Let's re-repair this hernia that broke again. That's it. Any types of those hernias. But that's your key difference right there. So first, go search through your hernia question. Am I initial or am I recurrent? Then you'll know which head are you in. And then you just need a size. S-I-Z-E. Size. There's one more set of hernias. If you're doing a para hernia, it doesn't matter if it's reoccurrent or initial. It's this one. It's initial or reoccurrent. The only thing we have to worry about is whether we're reductible or strangled. Same thing on these two. For reductible or strangled is the last part. And then our last one, the code 49623, is just for removal of mesh. One thing you do need to worry about is if your mesh is infected. We don't use this one. We use a code in Integumentary, and that kind of stuff is in my notes if you guys want it. All right. Uh-oh. Who's giving away stuff? Twinkle is. Y'all see that green box right there that she just gave away? If you hover over the box, the blue one, in the, what is that, right-hand corner, you'll see 3 little dots pop up. Click it and make sure you have accepted gifts prompted right there. And then that way, when somebody gives out gifts like Twinkle just did, then you can win. So it's not going to charge you anything. Twinkle's paying for a month's subscription to my YouTube channel for Amy. Thank you very much, Twinkle Twinkle. I go live 3 days a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6:30 Arizona time zone for 2 hours. Life happens. It's, sometimes I'm not here. Twinkle let everybody know, especially in my Discord group. Summertime was a little spotchy, but I pretty much finished all my vacation-y stuff. But, I'm just here volunteering, trying to help you guys out. But I do my very, very best, and I feel very upset if I'm not here. But I do my best 3 days a week for 2 hours, all free for you guys. Hey, Sandra. All right, let's see. Let me get back down here to my other integumentary questions. All right, I told you guys you're doing this one yourself. Look up your headers. Maybe even use the process of elimination. You've got 3 in same code. Would I use 1 code or would I use 2 codes? Would be something I'd think about. We've got 1 procedure, or did we do 2 separate? Things like that can help you out. Let's check out the question. But look up your differences before you read, and don't even read the question. You should know, if I did this procedure, I'm going to see what? And if you see more than what was in that descriptor being done, then you know you might need something else. These 2 are in different headers. We discussed the differences between these headers Monday. 1 is what kind of integumentary procedure? Anybody remember? And what's the 16? Anybody remember from yesterday? Monday? Not yesterday, but it seems like yesterday to me. Thank you, Twinkle. Yeah, the study guide is really nice. I mean, it's a concentrated, it needs to be concentrated more. It's a lot of info to go through, but it's exactly what they want to test you on. Good job, Go-Kart. 16 is malignant and 14 is benign. All right, let's go see. What do you guys think is the answer? Anybody brave? A, B, C, or D? Laura Love says B. Got a bunch of A's. Yep, we won't be 14 because that's benign. This is saying squamous cell carcinoma, so that is a malignancy. There are definitions to what is called a benign. My notes have a full list, but also you can find them on page 85 of the CPT book and 87 of the CPT book. The guidelines for those codes are in those locations, and you can see that basal cell carcinoma on page 87 is listed under the header of malignant lesions. So you know you're going to end up needing that malignancy, so you know A is your answer. Yep. Good job. Easy peasy without stressing about sizes and reading all this mess inside here. Whole lot easier to do the questions this way. Mohs surgeries, Mohs surgeries. How are we supposed to say this particular condition? I never know. But this is one of my favorite things to code. And one of my favorite things to teach. They have their own separate guideline compared to the rest of the Integumentary system. So you need to review their guidelines. For sure. Where are we at with Mohs surgeries? That's 7.3. Where'd we put them? They put them on page 107. I never know if this thing's going to make a lot of racket or if it's not. Diana, you just won a membership. I hope it helps you out. This was money from other members, their gifts on my TikToks. If people like my TikToks, that they can actually gift on the TikTok video even after it's published. They don't have to wait for a live. So that's where that money came from, for giving out the subscription for you, for the membership. You're very welcome. Mohs surgery is how you've always heard it. Mohs, Mohs. I just don't know how to pronounce the O. Huh. Is it like Curly Moe, Larry? Or Mohs, like Ma? Mohs. So you've already got it. When you go look at my videos now, let me see. See if I can find. Whoop, wrong one. I need to be here. Properties. Here. Let's see if this will help. So, when I get there, get to the website. That's if you want to schedule for the workshop. It's right there. But let me go to that YouTube. So, let's see. Now when you're in my YouTube videos, all these videos that say member only, they're not going to say member only now. You'll have access to all of them. You'll get access to all the book prep. You just click on them. All my little podcasts, don't forget, there's a free podcast there for everybody. But you can go to my playlist right here. And all my different playlists are right here. So we've got CPT book prep, the advanced duct classes you have access to, the ICD-10 book prep, all the workshops you have access to. All of those have been unlocked for you. So it should automatically happen. Just be sure you are logged on to the email address attached to this win right now, or like on a different device. If you are traveling but you log on to a different YouTube account, it's not going to show up. So be sure you're logged into whatever you are logged into right now. Hopefully that helps you out. Don't forget, if you want to join the Discord group, it's that little blue logo right there. It's super, super, super helpful. And it's all free. Okay. Mohs surgeries. Mohs surgeries? Mohs surgeries? I don't know. Get back to my thing. Okay. The first thing you need to know is where. Second thing is stages. And then third thing you need to know is how many slides. So where is not needed because your first code is all the same. So we don't even need to worry about step 1. Stage 2, which is the second code, or the second step 2 is the second code. We have a difference of opinions. We're either a number 15 or a number 12. What does that mean to us? As far as these answers go, it means for answers B and C, we had 2 stages. For answers D and A, we only had 1 stages. A stage is how many times the doctor went to the body and cut something off. I went to your arm and I cut a big old chunk of meat out. That's stage 1. That already is in this code. If I went back to your arm and cut a piece of meat out, that is called a second stage. Even if I move to a leg or an ear or a nose, it doesn't matter. If I went and cut another piece of meat off, then we would use our 12 or 14. It could be 12 or 14. So we need to check our question to see if the doctor cut off 2 pieces of meat or 1 piece of meat. That will get us down to a 50-50 shot with this particular question. So you guys check out the question. Tell me what you think. Did we have 1 stage or 2 stages? Or let me know which 2 answers are we keeping. Are we keeping A and D, or are we keeping B and C? Hey, Mommy. Thank y'all for the thumbs up and subscribing to the channel. I hope I can help all of you guys out. Who's doing what? Twinkle? She's giving away more stuff. Princess, congratulations. I hope that helps you out. Oh gosh, y'all, I fell on my new scooter and Mama's hurting. I fell last week, like last Tuesday. Why does it hurt more a week later than it does the first 3 days you fall? It's such a pain. Why the heck? Why are you hurting now, you old lady? Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Twinkle. Yay. I hope those videos help you out. So y'all see 1 stage? Is that what I'm seeing from you guys? So let's get rid of B and C. Now, let me get rid of some of this writing because it's confusing. So if our answer was A, how many microscope slides did we make? Anybody know? And if our answer was D, how many microscope slides did we make? Sequela. That's like, it sounds like you're saying a naughty word, doesn't it? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. Hey, PC, good to see you. It will not, winning this month free will not automatically charge you next month to continue. It's totally your decision. If our answer was D, we would have 6 microscope slides. I don't think anybody got that right. Because 11 has 5 in it. This one equals 1 more. If our answer was this, we have 5 here, and we have 3 extra ones here. This one has 8 microscope slides. So our answer, 8 tissue blocks. Slides are the same thing as blocks. That's just what they call them in the CPC exam. I call them by exactly what the procedure is doing to this because it sounds so foreign. When you're talking about stage, when you're talking about blocks, it just looks, it sounds, okay, and I can't visualize it. Like, I don't know what the heck they're talking about, but stage, I can understand that they're going to the body and they're cutting off a chunk of meat. You know, I have to see it. I have to visualize it in my head. What they do with that meat afterwards is they cut it into blocks and put it on microscope slides. That's all they're doing is slicing it up, but they call it blocks. But what is actually truly happening is they're putting them on slides. So that's why I use that language, is because it just makes more sense to me. I call body parts, they're body parts. I call it what it is. Whatever, if that makes any sense. I think it makes the language, English is hard enough to learn as it is. Even if you're born into it, I couldn't imagine living somewhere else and trying to understand this mess. So anyway, blocks are microscope slides. Anyway, A is our answer. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we're going to continue on this same example. Okay? I have another question. Continuing on the previous example, if the total of 6 blocks are prepared and examined from the neck specimen during a second Mohs stage, how would the coder now code this situation? So we're combining last question with what it has, and we're adding to it this. What do you guys think the answer is? And if you want to win, usually YouTube sends or picks a winner that has been active in chat. So be sure and at least try to answer so you can try to win these monthly subscriptions. Oh, my sons are sending me a picture. What happened? Anybody know the answer yet? I'm checking chat. Oh, Lord. Who won? Who won the subscription? Jill did. Congratulations, Jill. I hope those videos help you out. I got a lot of C's. B-A-C. B-A-C. I got maybe, oh, I even have a D. Now I got a lot of B's. You're welcome, Jill. Okay. We have 2 stages. 1, 2, right? Each one of these stages does 5 each, right? The first stage, we had 8. So we had 3 remainder, right? Our second stage has 6 together. We take away our 5, right? So we have 1 remainder. So if we add those together, our times for our little o 15 should equal this number. And I think we only had 1 person get that right? The last time I looked at chat. Who was that? Who was that? Little Joe and Diana? Yep. Continuing with previous example. Yep. Our first stage, our second stage. First stage had 8. We minus our 5, gives us our remainder 3. Our second stage had 6. We minus our 5. We take our remainder and add it to our 15 code. Yep. Will you have an code one this difficult during the exam? No. It will be more likely this one type, what you will have. You're just going to need to know, do I add a 12 or do I add just a 15? They're not going to be this crazy with it. I'm just crazy and write hard questions. So I just wanted to see if you guys could do it. I got 2 brave souls who did good. Good job. I hope that wasn't too difficult, and I hope my explanations about what a stage is, how to tell if you've had one or two, and look at this question. Look how singular they said stage. You can even tell by the way they write a lot of their questions. It didn't say stage, and a lot of times when it is, they'll put an S here when it's going to be two stages like that. But when they know that there's only one stage, they keep it singular. The verbiage is singular. Anyway, another way to tell during the exam how many stages you had. And then the explanation of how to add up your timeses. I know the descriptor says up to 5 more or something. It's a pain. This is how you code it. Sometimes you have to ignore the descriptors on the 15. The problem is 15 has the word each in it. And because it has the word each time you have an extra one, you times it. So that word each. Ooh, I learned something new with the each today in Lab and Path that I didn't know about a Medicare patient that I'll talk to y'all later about. I don't want to confuse you right now. But anyway, one of these days, if we ever get down to those Lab and Path questions, we're taking forever. So anyway, here's my rationale for my question. Answer is A. First stage had 8 slices or microscope slides or blocks, whatever you want to call them. So we had 3 over our 5. And then our second stage had 6, which was 1 over our 5, which means we have 4. And be sure to know that any practice questions where the 12, the 14, or the 15 is coded by itself or is listed as the first code in a particular answer, you can get rid of, because it will never, none of these codes will ever be the first answer. So like up here, if we had answer E, whoops, look at that dyslexia shining through. Doing numbers when you're meaning letters is, I'm showing off. So if I say I had 12 with an answer of 17315, you know that E is a coding irregularity, which does happen on the exam. And you know that these two answers, E and F, would never ever happen. You can eliminate those as possible answers right away because they both have the plus symbol in front of them. That's all I meant with this statement down there. Here are some definitions, and I know you guys know the definitions of partial and radical, but do you know the definition of urban without Google, without anything in your books, or knowing where to go to find this definition? Don't be Googling. What does urban mean in Integumentary? Anybody know? I'm just curious. Yes, y'all can rewatch these videos over and over, guys. It takes time. Mohs surgery is not easy. I do my best to break it down super simple for you. I've got other videos out there with Mohs in them too. Just keep rewatching it and don't stress. Not every certification exam for CPC has that question on the exam. A few versions do. I know version C does, but you may not even see those on your certification exam. Thank you, Twinkle. Sorry, Jess. Hopefully the combination of the way they teach things and the way that I teach things will eventually help make things clear. And you know, maybe the way they taught it to you is better than the way that I taught it. Everybody learns differently. Hopefully something one of us teachers says sparks that aha moment, you know, that lightning bolt. And I try to explain Mohs or Mohs surgeries different every time I go over them so that I can eventually catch everybody and have their aha moment. But just keep writing these examples and what the answer is in your CPT book too. So like where I put this answer, if you wrote this right here next to those Mohs codes, you would know, you would have this for your exam, right? You've got one stage with 8 blocks and second stage with 6 blocks. You know your answer is this. And then the other thing that you can do is write this example right here. We've got one stage with 8 blocks. Here's the answer. Just simply write these examples, as many as you can find with the correct answer, next to the codes. That's what I do in my notes. And even if you don't know what you're doing and you have no clue by the time you get to your exam, hopefully you've got enough examples that match the exam question, and you can just pick the answer based off what you've said in your notes right here. One stage, 8 blocks. You could match that answer. This answer is 2 stages, 8 in the first, 6 in the other. What is that, 14? 14 blocks altogether. All right. Urban is similar to radical, but it includes lymph nodes, but the difference is radical is axillary, where urban is internal. We're going deeper. Isn't that crazy? I thought this was an awesome definition I ran into. I'm trying to make you guys a study guide, but I still think I'm making it way too wordy. I've never seen urban on the certification exam, but I just thought it was cool. I thought it was cool, and I really like finding those one-word differences. What makes this so unique if they're both radical? So anyway, I threw in an example. Also, they don't ever do these as outpatients or in an outpatient clinic setting. You have to go under anesthesia and be admitted if they're going to go that deep too. So kind of cool. I like that. There's no question to this. I just was playing around. Also, I wanted to see if I had this updated in my notes, because I don't know if I do. We need to go to 19364. I didn't have time. 19364. Yep, I do. I said it was already with the microscope. Okay, good. So code 19364 and 19368 both already include a microscope. So there is not a do not next to these that says don't use with this code. So whatever you want to do to update your notes, to say either do not use with this code, or what I put in mine is that it's with microscope already, but probably would have been more clear. Oh, there is a do not. There is a do not. Just make sure you update and underline those that says don't. Sorry, I was looking at 67 for some reason. Anything with the free flap or that single peptidide is also a flap. So anything with a flap includes that special microscope.
Before it gets dark.
You have to go. Stop. Make your own decision, baby. Make your own decision. Do whatever you want. I don't care. Goodbye. Yeah, right. It's about to be dark. All right, we've got exam into musculoskeletal. All right, let's go see what the differences are on our codes. We've got 52, 62, and 60. We got 277. 277. 277. $52 is a child code. We can't do anything with it because it's a child. You got to go find your mama code and see what its difference is, which is closed. It's the first thing I'd pick on. 62 is also a child code. Can't do anything with that. Got to go see mama. It's also a closed. Well, what's my differences between the two then? Our mama for this one is medial. This mama is tibia. What is our 60? That's medial. Okay, and then 62 is with manipulation. And then what is our 7810? 7810? Are we under a different header? Nope. But it is a child code. We can't do anything with it. We have to go find its mama. This is also closed. And it is with the bi. So are we bi, medial, tibia, first off, and then are we with manipulation or without? If you have no clue what in the heck I just did, let me know in chat. Let me know. What? 687. Six, 8, 7, 61. Yep, each. And 41. 6, 8, 8, 41. Each. But are they times or multiple listed? Depending on your payer. With Medicare, you're going to do the code written out twice with a comma in 59. If it's commercial, you're going to times it by how many? To answer your question about Aaron. Good night, Diana. See you later. Ooh, Jody. Awesome. Let's remove our question. And let's see. We are doing closed with manipulation, and we are tibia. Was 52 with manipulation? It is. What time is it? It's already 8. Okay, I'm going to skip some questions here for a second. I'll turn my camera. See, it'll save these for Friday. But I wanted to get into the lab and path ones because somebody asked me for them. Ooh, there's a good E&M one too. Oh, just so slow. So many. Way too many musculoskeletal ones. Oh. We'll do these on Friday. Okay. Lab and path. Lab and path. Somebody asked me for lab and path tonight. Anybody know your definition for this word? VIVO. I'm losing folks. Thank you, Twinkle. There goes my kids beating on each other again. Oh, Lord. Hey, Raina. I hope that subscription helps you out. Living body. Good job. If you don't know that definition, you can write it in the front of your CPT book in the lab and path section. What about the study and diagnosis of a cellular level? What would we be dealing with here? Thanks, Laura Love. Yep. Perfect. What about measurement of DNA, RNA, protein, metabodies, genotypes, mutations, biochemicals, all those kind of changes? What would we be testing for then? Molecular. Good job. Good job. All right. Let's go look up our differences between these codes. Can you get to them as fast as me? Let's see. 80053 is my first one. In numeric, we've got a CMP. R61 is a lipid. 69 is renal. And 76 is hepatic. What do you guys think the answer is? What did they say?
Tomorrow. She's exhausted.
Okay.
She just came back.
In the cat tree.
Thank you.
My child, he is obsessed with expiration dates. He says we need to order more milk, that our milk is old. The expiration date on the milk is 7/9/2023. Today is 7/5/2023. He's killing my soul because my mom's texting me. I just ordered 2 gallons of milk. It'll be here tomorrow at 5. I'm like, dude, I already told him he wasn't getting more milk. And then he went to Grandma and got exactly what he wanted. Travis! That child. Travis James! Shame. Awesome. Hey, Davis. They know how to get exactly what they want. Oh my gosh. With no, I would have been terrified of my mother's reaction if I did that. Now, I used to do it, but I used to spend the summers with Granny and Grandpa. We're at their house. We all live under the same house here. I would have never been that bold. Or I'd at least waited until I knew my mom was asleep or something. Anybody get hepatic and the C answer? Did y'all get C? Yeah. All right. Matching up these. Pathogenesis, parasitology, microbiology, hematology, and cytogenetics. What, can y'all do a word match on these? Which one is pathogenics? Are we talking about a branch, a medical specialty, a sequence of events, another branch, or a study? Congratulations, Cassandra. I hope that subscription helps you out. You now have access to all my book prep videos and the workshops. Travis James, you went to Grandma and got her to order more milk. After we already had a discussion about milk, you should not have brought up milk to any other adult in this house. You are wrong for it. No, she already did. She ordered you 2 more gallons of milk. She ordered you 2 more gallons of milk. After I told you you wouldn't get no more milk until you drank that milk. It doesn't expire till 6/9. Today's 6/5. 7/5, whatever. Don't harass me about the dates on the stupid milk. to get my complaint out about the milk. Oh my gosh. All right, first one, our pathogenesis is C, perfect. What's parasitology? So we can get rid of that one. Ology, ology, and ology, looking at those endings. Twinkle and I are just tag teaming it. Who won? Who won? Chastity, awesome. Yay. Setting things straight. I ain't getting nothing straight. He's getting his way, and he got 2 gallons of milk, probably $10 a piece, delivered tomorrow. He gets what he wants. I just get to complain. Para. We are D. The branch is dealing with biology and parasites. You can word match. Microbiology. We're under the microorganisms, right? Get to go E. Hematology, we're dealing with blood, right? Which one's blood? We can word match right there. We've got B. And then cytogenics, we're dealing with chromosomes, right? Easy peasy. All right. There's just the definitions. That's all. I didn't even write the answers down. I got a cat who wants out. All right, you guys look up the differences between these codes. We've got some consultation codes and then some lab and path codes. Here's your question while I let the cat out. See if I can't put that together. There we go. I'll be right back. Y'all work on that question. But if you're reading the question already, you're doing it wrong. Go find your differences in those codes before you skim the question for the answer. All right, Magpie. There you go. $20 in milk. Child, still got a gallon left. Oh. 4 days before it expires. All right, guys. Anybody got a guess as to what this one is? We've got 2 consultation E&M codes, and then 80504. Where is everybody? Y'all still here? We're on page 614 of the lab and path section. The differences between the 3 and the 4 code. 3 will do 1 to 2 test, and 4 will do 3 to 4 test. So how many did we do? Let's see, would y'all write? Good job, Nicole. We can't code E&M here, right? Because it's included. Interesting, Annabelle. And if we did use an additional code with an E&M code, what would be missing from here if we actually did do it? We're going to need that 25 modifier to say that we did a different identifiable office visit or whatever. There might be an occasion where a PCP saw this patient for, I don't know, they're an internist physician, internal medicine physician. They're a specialty doctor. They're like a PCP on steroids. They saw the patient for their diabetes, whatever, and they're also a specialized internalist who does cancer patients or something, I don't know, on the side. But they're also a pathologist. I mean, they got all kinds of hats here. They have a PhD in internal medicine and they have a PhD in pathology. So could they see the patient for diabetes and do a full evaluation and management, blah, blah, blah. And then also, ooh, I got your slides in for your whatever that some surgeon went and cut off on you and they sent them back to me and I'm going to be your pathologist and I'm going to look at them. Maybe, but you're still going to need your 25 modifier. You're going to need a whole lot of records to send to Medicare or whoever, the health plan, to get them paid for. But will this be on the CPC exam as a possible answer? Nope. And you can tell that this wouldn't go together because you don't have your modifier anyway. And yes. So how many tests did we do? 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 is our differences. D is our answer. Good job. And there's our rationale. Came with the question. In case y'all wanted it, but there are 2 tests, 1 blood and 1 bone marrow. All right, we've got, oh, my favorite codes. I love these. 803, where are we at? These are the darndest codes to find. Sometimes they're very difficult to find, but I like the codes. Yes, James. Now he's interrupting. What's that? No, what do you want? You already interrupted. What? James. Tell me now, because I'll be irritated if you don't. What?
I don't want to say it on here.
Nobody can hear you. What?
Yeah, they
They can't hear you. What?
can. Oh, wait. It can wait.
You're no fun.
Wait.
Bye. My other child. All right. Differences between the 06 and the 07. What is your differences? These 2 are sticks. I guarantee you these codes will be on a medical coding certification exam for you. Whether it's a HEMA, NHA, AAPC, these codes will be there. This one is a machine. So I'm just going to look through the question and see, did I use a stick or did I use a machine for my results? I'm not going to worry about all this garbage back here yet. Don't worry about it. Put on blinders and don't look at it. Just get yourself down to a 50-50 shot and know the differences between those 2 codes. first. Then we'll deal with the other garbage. Ugh. There we go. Skim the question from the bottom up. See if you used a machine or if you used a stick. Patient was comatose. Yeah, Nancy, aren't these codes terrible? They are impossible to find. Even though they're not out of code, they're out of sequence. So if you haven't written down the page number, the page where the codes should be, but aren't, then you're going to have a really hard time finding them. The codes should be on page 806 if you're in the 2023 book, and they're red, but because they're 4 pages away from where they're supposed to be, I write down the page numbers down next to each one of the red codes to tell me what page to go look at. These are on page 602 of the CPT book. This is what this looks like. Your lab and path and medicine section are littered with these red things everywhere, and every time you see them throughout the entire book, I don't care where, these codes are out of sequence. This 803, 05, 06, and 07 are not where they're supposed to be. Write down the page number of where they are once you find them. If you can even find where the presumptive drug class screening subsection is, because that isn't even listed as a freaking thing. I hate this book. As a page listed in your lab and path index. So good luck finding it because it's not listed. And even the header to this thing on page 602 doesn't even tell you. There's nothing on this page to say that we are actually now under a presumptive drug class screening subsection. So it's not even labeled that that's where you're at once you do find those codes. So it's a hot mess. It's like a rite of passage. You need to go to Narnia to find all these codes. And it gets so bad in medicine, and I paid for a lot of money for a year for other teachers and stuff to help me pass this exam, but no one told me about all these out of code sequences and to fix them before the end of your exam, because you'll get to exam, and if your answer is this one, and this one, and you don't even know where this is and it's not labeled in the book as where it's at, you have no idea, and you ain't got time because you have 120 seconds per question to answer it. You don't have time to do a Narnia witch hunt. So go through the entire book. Every section except for the male genitalia has codes that are out of sequence, and you need to write down the page numbers. I put down the column number where they're located too, but I'm just extra. And if the code is on the same page where the red code is listed, I put arrows to where it's at, like down here or up there, so my eye can go quickly to wherever it's at. But you ain't got to do all that as long as you at least get down a darn page number. That's the least and the most efficient thing that you need. My notes have them done for you if you want them, but you can do it yourself, I promise. And I have a step-by-step guide to what I have all in my notes on my website for free under the resource tab. You can log on to my website, sign up for an account. I had to do that to get the bots off. Not that I collect y'all's emails, addresses, and send y'all spam like those teachers that send out courses every day. Oh my gosh. I don't send you no emails unless it's something important like, hey, I've got a workshop coming up, and that's usually just once a month. That's it. Anyway, just be sure and go to the resource tab, and you can go to the page that says CPT book prep, and you can see all my little steps, including the out of code sequences and how to fix that issue in the book on that page, all for free. All right, we've got our differences. What kind of drug screen is a TLC drug screen? Is that a stick or is that a machine? You need to know that. And if you don't know that, you can go to page, is it 600? Yeah. Go back to page 600. There is 589, technically, is a definition of acronyms in Lab and Path. You can look through this list of acronyms till you find TLC, which is listed here, and it says it's a thin layer chromatography. Chromatography is one of the things listed in the parentheses of 307, right? Most of your acronyms, sorry guys, I don't know why. Most of your acronyms are in the back of the book on the last page or the back cover of the CPT book, but Lab and Path are not back here because they have a lot of them. They're on this chart in Lab and Path, which starts on 598. If you have 2022 book, it's like 10 pages sooner, like, I don't know, or not sooner, but later, like 600 and something. So it's not too hard to find. You'll be able to find it. Okay, get rid of that. Okay, so we're going to keep the 7s. We figured out finally we're going to keep the 7s. We can get down to that. And yes, if you've seen my lives, if you know me, I've already got you notes in this area that says these codes are not in each. We do not times them. So you already know then, by process of eliminating, by knowing this is a coding irregularity and knowing that this TLC is a machine, that the only possible answer it could be is this one. Now you're not having to match up opioids, barbiturates, and crazy foolishness in this question at all with codes or reading code descriptors and trying to look up 3 different codes and figure out of all this mess what the answer is. Go into the answers, figuring out what your header basically is, differences, first, clearing those headers, then looking for coding irregularities that I've already told you about. Any of these codes, the 05, the 06, the 07, we do not times here. A lot of them we do in Lab and Path. These specific ones we don't. You know that if you see an answer, which you will on a medical coding certification exam, with the times on any of these codes, you can automatically go in and get rid of them. Nope, Jen said no. I know that's not going to be my answer. Now am I doing a stick or am I doing a machine? There you go. You'll be able to find and complete this question. You will see a question like this on the exam. I know it'll be in some form. I have no idea which question, but probably we'll see one, I bet. I'm catching up with chat while y'all do. Oh, no, we can't do one more. It's already time, and I am tired. Let me look. I see. Y'all did this. Did y'all do that? This one was tricky. Hey, Tammy. Good to see you. Good, Tammy. Did you find it? What TLC? Yep. All right, I'll show y'all this one, and then I want y'all to do this one for homework, and then you come back on Friday, and y'all will have this one done. All you got to do is decide. No, on Friday. Yeah, we'll come back on Friday. Y'all have to decide, are you a 10 or 11? That's the first thing. And then am I going to be a Z code or an I code if we're still in the 10s? Do your headers first. Right? Cats are starting to argue they're wanting food. If you do figure out you do need a 10 code, you do need a Z code, you have very few differences. None of this you need to look up. They're all the same back here, so that won't matter at all. But first figure out if you're a 10 or an 11. If we get rid of 11 and we're just this one and that one, you don't need to look up these codes because they're all the same. The only difference is, am I an 01 or am I an 89? Here's your question, and then y'all can tell me the answer on Friday. I will be back here for 2 more hours of free lessons just like this at 6:30 Arizona time zone. Congratulations to all the winners. Thank you so much, Twinkle, for helping out and giving away a whole bunch of YouTube subscriptions. And the ones that signed up on their own, I really appreciate all the support for all the video work that I do. Don't forget to check out the podcast. It's free too. I'm just reading you the CPT book from beginning to end and telling you what I think the sentences mean in layman's term after I read their confusing jargon. So it's a hot mess, but hopefully it helps out a little bit with some examples. And I will see you guys on Friday. Okay, Erin, what's up? Look at Twinkle. Living life. Awesome. She just won one too. What did she say? A question about notes, page 20. What? I can't see the question. Left example doesn't have a code included. Probably not. And I've probably fixed that at some point and written in the correct code. I'm sure if you Google the example, whatever I wrote there on Quizlets, it'll pop up with the correct answer. I will look at that on Friday. I gotta go let Sammy out because he's complaining over here, and he's taking out his frustration on Lester. So I'll go feed these cats, and I'm sure Twinkle might have that updated note issue. And I remember answering that already in Discord too. So if you Google that answer too, it's posted in Discord. But I am going to go run, my loves. I love you all, and I will see you on Friday. I hope this was helpful. And I can't wait to see you guys all pass and still come back to see me like Deep does. So much fun. I do have duck classes probably going to happen again starting in August too. Those are $5 Friday question Q&A with me. It's a smaller group, just 30 of us to get together on Friday mornings. And I do way difficult questions, like the most difficult that you'll see on a CPC exam or a CCS exam. The tricky guideline question too. Anyway, guys, I will see you guys on Friday. Good night.